So pre-workout's super common in the bodybuilding world and weightlifting world. Yeah. And it's definitely pushing into the endurance sports world too.
Oh, I wish it wouldn't.
And I've genuinely seen pre-workout that glows in the dark. I've seen pre-workout. One of them I saw was just called Cocaine. That was the product name.
Okay.
no, it just C's. Yeah.
All with their proprietary blends. That's my favorite term.
And these things, just so people can understand, a lot of these pre-workouts, so they don't follow. I'm loose on this. Okay, so please have some forgiveness. But a lot of them are not held to the same standards as
There's
other.
no standards.
There are no standards.
FDA can't regulate it.
Yeah, no standards.
So they can throw in plenty of different things, and this is actually how a good amount of athletes in different sports have been popped for doping, because they just take a pre-workout, but they don't know it's not controlled.
This happens all the time in the bodybuilding world, where there's not really testing. There is from the clean, but that's another thing. A product would come on the market, and everyone goes, "Whoa, this thing really works!" And they go out, and everyone tries to buy it, and it's because it has some type of, like, if not a steroid, like one chain away,
amphetamine, something like that,
or almost like a steroid. I forget what the term is called, but it's illegal. And it takes a while for someone to have a heart attack or something, and then they take it off the shelf, or they find out.
Yeah.
And then, so it keeps happening over and over and over again. So if you're a cyclist and you can get tested, I would stay far away from this sort of stuff. Because Chad's going to list a whole bunch of stuff that is you're not going to most likely get popped for.
Yeah, no.
That'll be the worst, though, right?
None of this stuff that I'm
and that is, though,
illegal.
How many cyclists, though, use that as an excuse? Because it happens all the time. They're like, I just took a supplement.
I don't know. I didn't know it was
proprietary blends. Run from that phrase.
Yeah.
That means they have put anything they want to in there.
But even though if they list everything, there still could be extra stuff in it. Because they put a little extra. They get all these sales.
They don't necessarily know what's tainted either with their ingredients, the quality of their ingredients.
Who knows what their intentions are, but the outcome is you could be taking illegal stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Jim, your timing's perfect, because I just a couple weeks, maybe just a week ago, read Asker Jukendrup's newest, one of his many blog posts on this very matter. So it made my job really easy, because it's very concise, and saved me a whole lot of combing through my ever-growing document. It's pushing like 2,500 pages now.
That should just be a book.
Just do a word search, and it should, but it's so poorly organized it would take me forever to get it in order. But if you haven't heard of Asker Jukendrup, just like Louis Passfield talked about sooner, he's someone you should absolutely check out. He's a researcher at Maastricht University in the Netherlands. His website is mysportscience.com, and it's a wealth of information. And he's a very reputable resource on matters such as these. So outside of the proprietary blends, which we obviously can't delve into, and wouldn't really be worth our time, I took from his document and from my own stuff that I think is probably most commonly used. What people think, pre-workout, I need this. This is going to give me a better workout. And the only one that stands up is caffeine, quite literally. I'll talk about the others, but caffeine's it. It is the only one. We know that caffeine affects the CNS, the central nervous system. It reduces RPE, heightens our alertness, which is beneficial in a number of ways, and has positive effects on endurance performance. News to nobody. But we also know that the brain habituates to the adenosine receptors get less and less stimulated, whatever. And basically every day we drink our coffee, and all that does is levels us out. And then we spend the day creating a caffeine deficit. And then the next morning we just return to baseline. So we're used to it. So it doesn't do anything. So in order for caffeine to mean anything in these pre-supplement or these pre-workout drinks, or over the course of a workout, you'd have to go way overboard and overdose yourself effectively. Or you have to spend a period of time resensitizing yourself to caffeine, which means cutting caffeine off, which for anybody who's been on caffeine for quite a long time is a pretty unpleasant process. I've tried to do it a few times, and I just don't last. A couple days into it, I can't take the headache anymore, and I have a cup of coffee. And then timing is super important. We've talked about this before. It's roughly about an hour out. So if you want to be fast from the gun, you take it an hour prior. If you want to be fast mid-race or toward the end of the race, maybe you hit yourself with a caffeine gel appropriately timed. So the timing does matter, though. My pro tip is save your dollars and just drink coffee. But obviously you can't drink coffee during the workout. We're just talking pre-workout here.
Yes,
what about during the race?
I suppose you could. You could put it in your bottle.
Chad and I actually
There's no reason you couldn't put iced coffee in your bottle.
Both of us drink coffee during rides, right? Like hot coffee.
Yeah,
during the
always,
workouts.
Almost always, even if it's afternoon, right? I just like that extra little kick, which it's not much of one because I'm pretty habituated to caffeine.
Caffeine pills too. They're inexpensive.
Doesn't matter what the form is, it's just caffeine.
Yeah. And two, you can do that during the ride. Again, when you buy them, I go to the grocery store or to the gas station. I get kind of foil packs because if they're in foil packs, you can cut them, and put them in your jersey pocket. And in the longer races, it's just like a whole new level opens up.
It's interesting.
You don't start with it, and then after like 3 or 4 hours, you take 400 milligrams. 15 to 45 minutes later.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's a
it's like
tolerable dose.
it's a large Starbucks venti. And don't. I think I've said this a lot, but caffeine pills, to me, I drink a lot of coffee, are this next level fuel. Like you get the jitters hard. And I mentioned this, I think, the last podcast, but you can use L-theanine in a 2-to-1 ratio of for milligrams to coffee to kind of help smooth out the jitters a little bit.
Yeah.
L-theanine is just an amino acid.
Yeah.
Did I mention that? Did I not?
It does ring a bell. But
Okay. Well, hey, you can do it. So,
Mentioned.
yeah, exactly. Completely safe. And a lot of people, it's in a lot of like new supplements now for morning awakeness, which is just caffeine pill with L-theanine in it, but it's way cheaper if you just buy L-theanine separately. I hope I'm saying that right, theanine. I might not be.
Theanine, I hear it both ways.
Yeah.
Beta-alanine, beta-alanine.
I think we should preface this whole thing with consult with your doctor before you take in caffeine.
Don't listen to us.
But one thing I can say on this is that so I don't take in caffeine very regularly, other than I usually have like a square of dark chocolate every night. That's like basically it, right? But then during
Just imagine in one square. I'm looking at it across the table.
it's actually
You can be mine later.
Chad actually kind of got me on that kick a long time ago. Chad had mentioned that was like his treat, and it's a good one.
Satisfying.
It's good chocolate too. Yeah, ritual chocolate's really good stuff. But then when I have a race like that, then I do take I take a caffeine pill, something like that, before a race, and holy cow, I am.
I can imagine.
Oh yeah, it brightens you way up.
It's good to mention too that there is a legal dose of caffeine.
Yes, you can't go over a certain amount, which
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but
It's crazy high. But
We'll put it into forum.trainerroad.com.
and talk to your doctor and Google yourself. But it's not that much, I believe. For my size, like 4,000 milligrams is starting to be there, but it's enough that you could physically do it. It's not like it's 100,000 milligrams. Like if I wanted to, I could kill myself with caffeine. Right now, guys.
Yeah, please don't do that. So caffeine, I think it's mostly understood by people that it works.
So some of the other usual suspects when we're talking about pre-workout and all the things that we think are going to give us a better workout, beta-alanine is pretty up to toward the top of that list. And the promises, or what beta-alanine does, is it improves your muscle buffering capacity. And it does this by increasing carnosine. Carnosine and I think histamine go hand in hand, but this ups the carnosine side of things, but quite simply increases your work capacity, decreases fatigue. Who doesn't want that? But it requires consistent ingestion over the course of several weeks. We're not talking a couple hours or a few minutes prior to a workout.
So here's the interesting thing with that too, right? And I think that you're going to get to this because when you take beta-alanine, I don't know if anybody else, if you've listened to this, but my fingertips get tingly.
You get the tingles.
Yep.
Yeah, it's called paresthesia. It's just something that takes place with the dermis. They also get it in the nose.
Yep. Yeah. So you think, you feel it, and you're like,
it's doing something.
And there are entire memes about this, like when the pre-workout kicks in, and like, people talk about the caffeine rush, but then they also talk about the tingliness, and that's from the beta-alanine. So you think, I'm feeling something like that, so something must be happening.
Workout. And maybe psychologically it has an impact, so I can't knock it in that sense.
Sure, but it's not about what you feel right there tying into the actual benefit. It's something that over time when you take it, that's when it proves beneficial.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, with consistency.
I believe too with beta-alanine, it shows improvement from 1 to 8 minute power, but not on stuff faster than that.
So if you're doing an Ironman bike leg,
it makes sense. I mean, if it's about buffering capacity or capacity, then it's going to be shorter power where you're accumulating
more lactate,
acidification.
There are products for this, but if you buy it just like a powder, it's super cheap.
Nice.
I think I have some in there, and I was taking it on short stuff. I'm going to take it every day now because it's reportedly safe. I'm not going to say it's safe.
Some other ones. So there's beta-alanine.
So BCAAs, your branched chain amino acids. So science says, I talk to science from time to time, it has to be ingested with protein for it to increase protein synthesis. So you can't just eat BCAAs and think my muscles are going to get bigger. They're getting all the necessary amino acids, building blocks they need. No, they also need protein.
I did not know
actual
that.
protein. So eat a chicken breast.
I'm guilty of taking in BCAAs with nothing
While
else.
we're on the topic of protein, you don't have to do it. All this, I'm going to the gym. I need pre-protein. I need protein before to maximize gains. Otherwise, I'm in a state of degradation over the course of it. I'm going to lose muscle mass. Science right now, again, is saying that the timing is not as crucial as we thought it was. So you can achieve the same benefits in protein synthesis, same positive protein turnover with protein post-workout. It might even be more effective than pre-workout.
So science disagrees with bro science.
Yeah, real science. I only talk to real science.
No bro science. What about creatine? Because that's in a ton of pre-workout supplements.
So creatine's legit, but it's legit for what it's legit for, which is not endurance science or endurance work. So we're looking at high intensity work capacity, roughly 10-second sort of stuff. The creatine pool that's directly in your muscles that helps regenerate ATP and does it really fast, but does not last very long. How is this relevant in our world?
Right.
Maybe with repeated punches, hitting again and again and again, but that comes down to your rate of replenishment. So it's if you're light on it and you need to reestablish, so for whatever reason that your creatine stores are low, you can supplement to restore those levels. But and here's the kicker: so everyone thinks that my pre-workout mix has creatine in it, so I'm going to go and I'm going to have that extra bit of strength today to rep out those last few reps that I haven't been able to get. Whatever, they're going to have a better strength workout.
Yep.
You have to dose in order to affect your creatine levels 5 days at 20 grams a day. So that's a high level of dosing, 20 grams over the course of 5 days, every day for 5 days. Alternatively, low dosing approach is for 30 days, 3 grams a day. So at best, we're talking a week's worth of prep before you start to really achieve any benefits or feel benefits from it. Or if you go a slower dose route, 30 days, but no immediate pre-workout benefit.
So the 10 seconds, that'd be good for a sprinter. But the downside of it is that you carry more water weight. And for me, when I take creatine, it's like in that first week, 5 pound gain in water weight.
Oh, yeah.
And so as a cyclist, flat sprinting maybe beneficial, but all the other stuff I do,
even those sprints, we're talking like 5-10 seconds of it, and then it's all your glycolytic capacity, so your anaerobic capacity. So why not focus on that instead? I mean, why?
You do both.
You can, but supplementing to have a good initial pop one time. I mean, and you can spend that so easily without allowing it to replenish. And by the way, replenishment takes place aerobically, so it's it still goes back to your aerobic system's capabilities. So even if you want to repeatedly use your PCR, in order to you use it up, and the only way it replenishes is aerobically. So again, via training, you can get better at replenishing PC stores.
It's not necessarily about what you're taking in there; it's more about how your body can replenish it.
I honestly don't understand. I just can't see how supplementing with something like that is going to make you a better bike racer in general.
It can make you look swole, though. So
it
that's
does,
cool.
Yeah, it's straight. I see the benefits for strength athletes.
For strength training, in strength training, this is the supplement that everyone says it's like caffeine for us.
Yep.
Just take it. There's like no downsides if you're a weight trainer.
Electrolytes, that's another one that I see.
Yeah, so it's basically energy drink marketing. As far as pre-workout benefit to electrolytes, nope. I mean, your food probably has stocked your stores enough for the initial part of the workout, and then over the course of the workout, depending on how long it is, take in more.
What about taurine? I see that one.
Same thing. There's no real science to support its use. Not in terms of performance benefit, and not in terms of pre-workout benefit. And the same goes for B12, which is one I see all the time.
Oh yeah, they throw that in everywhere. And then I guess the last one, what's carbohydrate?
Which I mean, we know this is pretty straightforward. Heck yes. I mean, you just have to time it accordingly, and depending on what you're trying to achieve with the workout, the intensity of the workout, the duration of the workout, all the things we've talked about ad nauseum previously.
Yeah.
So caffeine and carbohydrates.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds like my world.
That defines an 8.
And maybe beta-alanine.
I guess if you took it consistently, perhaps you can get for that short sort of effort.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at it from a different perspective, overall performance over a longer course, but short term, pre-workout, want to have a better workout, no.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.